you are you're doing this full time. How do you stay motivated in your day to day? So you don't really have a day job, you're doing it full time. How do you kind of, what do you have any special routines? Do you have any special tips and tricks, or do you just kind of write when you feel like it, or how's that all work?
Um, yeah. If only I knew the tips and tricks, right? Like it's
Yeah.
you know when like you feel like you stumble on something good and you keep trying to do it and eventually it stops working.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I feel like I'll start a good routine and I feel like it'll work really well, but then I'll need to change it. So full to kind of share with you, I did get diagnosed with ADHD about 5 years ago, which did explain a lot of things, right?
Hmm.
And one of the core tenets of ADHD is that you'll have a hyperfixation, like you can get really focused in on just the one thing, and that's the only thing you can think of. It's the only thing you can do. And so I do find that writing a lot of the time is my target of my hyperfixation, which is really convenient because it gets me some good output. Like if I'm in first draft mode, I'll get like 3 or 4 thousand words down a day, which is usually like a chapter a day. And like I know there's authors out there that can put out like 10,000 words in a day or something like that, but I find that everything for me that I've written turns to slop after about 5,000 words in a day, so I don't want to push it. So yeah, like I think that is just like constantly thinking about how I'm going to tell the next bit of the story. Like even if I'm just starting up a writing session, just taking a moment to think about like the exact wording of the next sentence, just visualizing how the words are shaped on the page, like each letter essentially. That's the thing that kind of gets the ball rolling because otherwise it just seems like too big a concept. It's like approaching a blank page every time.
Yeah. Do you find that you there's some writers who I've heard say like just write, just get it out. Like whatever it is, just write it down as much and as fast as you can. But then there's also like I think it's Stephen King, where his process is he tries to write 6 really clean pages every day. So not
Mm.
like 6 messy random draft pages, like 6 really clean. Like where do you kind of lean either way that way?
I think I lean a bit more Stephen King's way. Like, I don't, I write in order. I write the book in progress. I rarely, if ever, skip a scene and come back to it. And yeah, the pages I'm writing, I know it's never going to be like really clean, like edited, ready to go kind of pages, but I'll write them as if like if someone picks this up now and starts reading, it's going to make sense as a book. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'd prefer to do it that way because I couldn't, like, editing's already a painful process, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine coming back to like a really messy first draft that you need to edit rather than something that's a bit cleaner. Like, yeah, I feel like it's just saving me trouble down the road. Like, I hate nothing more than like having to remove an entire chapter because it just feels like so much effort wasted.
Yeah. Yeah, that I have one full draft that I've finished. Um and it was kind of the first thing I'd ever written and gotten completed, but it was
Hmm.
before I really had dove into like learning how to outline and all that kind of stuff. And I have it's sitting on my bookshelf back here, but like I just can't bring myself to like start editing it because it's such a mess. It's so like
Yeah,
it's very debilitating to like read through it and be like, I just don't even know where to start with this whole thing. Like basically it needs rewritten, and that's
yeah.
and part of that is I started before I had no idea what I was doing. I just thought, hey, this sounds like a good idea, let's go for it. Now I'm looking back, I'm like, I'm just gonna have to rewrite it, essentially take the good parts and you know
Yeah. I mean, look, that's what happened with one of my books. Like, this one. So the Hythera Redux, that is like the first, like the core of the story was the first book of what I started writing in the Droughtlands, and because it's about a character who's like thrown 1,000 years beyond their time into the future, and they've had their memories stolen. I always had a hard time making that character stick to the present story, and so yeah, I did have to come back and rewrite it a few times before I figured out exactly how to make it work. So I'd recommend it. Like, go back and rewrite it, but I think don't even try to come back and save the bits that did work. I think that you're coming back and figuring out what was my original intention, what was the thing that got me excited about the story, and then you base the story about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think doing more of a um, maybe pulling out the meaning and intention of what you're trying to tell with the story, but not necessarily keeping and saving like the words that are there, you know?
Yeah, like the words or the action sequences and stuff. Yeah, that's it.